What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to where the weird ones are.
Yeah. Weird ones only, we talking that truth. Ghost in the attic, yeah, show me the proof. Aliens creeping, they light in the roof. Minds wide open, we shatter the booth. Conspiracies deep, we dig in the scars. Demons and angels and bodies on Mars. Cryptids be watching, they lurk in the dark. Mental on edge, but we glowing like stars. Welcome to the pod, no cap, it's a seance. Whispers in the static, spirits doing dance. Reptiles in suits, yeah, running the lands. MK Ultra made a puppet of your mans. Wendigo hunger, dogman strut, flat woods, eyes glow. Slice through the cut, Bigfoot tagging trees. Marking the trail, weird ones ride, no room for the frail. Talking about trauma, talking that soul. Peeling back layers, we dig in a hole. Sacred geometry, numbers align. Ancestors speak through the veil and the sign. Ayahuasca dreams, third eye lit. Shadow self lurking, we making it spit. No mainstream lies. This the dirt where the weird ones rise from the blood and the hurt. Weird ones only, we talking that truth. Ghosts in the attic, yeah, show me the proof. Aliens creeping, they light in the roof. Minds wide open, we shatter the booth. Conspiracies deep, we dig in the scars. Demons and angels and bodies on Mars. Cryptids be watching, they lurk in the dark. Mental on edge, but we glowing like stars. Voices in the woods got chills on the neck. Black-eyed kids at the door, now we check. CIA tapped in, fluoride drip. Project Bluebeam, watch that script. Talking about grief, talking about fear. Talking about why them voices appear. Healing the mind while breaking the chain. Spiritual warfare deep in the brain. We don't run from the strange, we live in the strange. Tattoo the truth and the scars and the pain. Stay weird, the mantra we own in the name. Reality bends, so we bend to the same. From the attic to the swamp, we tracking the freak. Where the veil get thin and the silence speak. We ain't your norm, we off that grid. Weird as the wave, yo, this where we live.
Hello everyone, it's Connie over on the YouTube channel Talk Spooky to Me, and currently you are listening to Kevin from Where the Weird Ones Are. Enjoy!
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you probably already knew that, and if you didn't, now you do. Today's episode is with Anne-Marie Bahny, who works in the mental health field, and we discuss a lot of that, schizophrenia and stuff like that. But she also is an actress. She's been an extra in a couple films like The Purge. She is currently um, awaiting for the premiere of her newest horror comedy that takes it's like a 1940s black and white film. It's horror, but it's also comedy. Like I said just 2 seconds ago, I don't know why I need to re-explain it. But she plays a vampire, and it's called Lady of Castle de la Mort. So yeah, it's it's pretty interesting. I saw the trailer and it looks pretty cool. I think I want to check it out when I can. I'm not sure where it's going to be available, but when I know, I will let you guys know, and all that. But great conversation, lovely lady. We talked a while pre-roll, and we talked for like another hour after we were done recording. Probably could have talked to her all night. She's definitely going to be coming back, I'm sure. So, yeah, she was lovely. I really enjoyed talking to her. So, um, but yeah. So shout out to the sponsor, Flavors of the Forest, right here. Raw garlic dust, Bigfoot's breath. This shit is super yummy. I put it on everything, and I think you should put it on everything as well. So if you're gonna put it on everything, I highly recommend you go to flavorsforest.com. That is where you can get this shit, and they have a bunch of other flavors. Um, so check them out. Be there or you are a square. Um, but yeah, so it's really delicious stuff. I highly recommend. Way more potent than anything you're gonna get at the store, so you're gonna really taste the garlic on this. If you love garlic, which I do. Um, so again, that's flavorsforest.com. You can also follow them on Instagram at flavorsforest. So check them out. Also, my buddy Johnny, he has a company um called Wild Beauty. You can get that shit at Wild Beauty wildbeautyproducts.com. Go check them out. A lot of facial moisturizers, hand creams, lip balms, lipsticks, whatever, chapstick, I mean. The stuff that he sent me, I've been using, it's almost gone now. Um, which I have a few more that I've also been using, so they're all almost evenly gone. But this is whipped tallow moisturizer. I don't know why I feel the need of reading it every time I go to tell you what it is. It's like almost like I feel like I'm gonna forget or say it incorrectly. I I mean, maybe I think that's probably what it is, to be honest. I think I'm gonna say it incorrectly. Um, Also on Amazon, you can check out my book, The Adventures of Rizzo and Weird Son, Monster Hunters, Hollow in the Pines, Book 1. It's a short read. It's only 116 pages. There's pictures in it, but the pictures came out really dark, so I might end up like redoing it. So some of the pictures you can't even freaking really see, to be honest with you. So I might end up redoing the art on on this and resubmitting it. So, but you can get that on Amazon, if you're interested. Also, if you or somebody you know is experiencing any kind of mental distress, please, here in the United States, dial 988. That is the suicide prevention hotline, but they've kind of converted into just like a mental crisis hotline. So if you're feeling any kind of mental distress, you can call them and they can set you up with resources. They're there to talk to you if you need somebody to talk to, all that stuff. Also, a cool thing about them is that if you're witnessing somebody you love or somebody you know or somebody that you just want to help, they can also help you with resources to help somebody. Um, so I think that's pretty dope. So please stay another day. You do not know the hole you will be leaving behind. So check yourself. Do not wreck yourself. You're only going to be transferring your trauma, and I know you don't want to do that. So stick around, will you? Your existence means something, whether you see it or not. I promise. I promise. Um, well, kids, I think that's all I have to say today. Um, I do apologize for episode 224 taking a week, but man, I didn't even, so this episode and last week's episode, I didn't even put on Patreon as an early access. I lost all of my files on my computer. My hard drive crashed, and it's been a process to recover everything. So I haven't recovered everything yet, but I recovered things that I need for sure. But there's some things that I still want to try and recover before I reformat it. Because once I reformat it, it's all gone. It's gone completely. So, um, yeah, it's been it's been horrendous. It's been a terrible week. But I have been working on my script a lot lately, the past couple of days. Um, I'm probably gonna be done with it by Halloween, I think, and then I'll probably, probably edit it 100 times, but at least it'll be done, and then whatever changes I want to make, I can make and stuff, and then I don't think the next writers competition, I don't think is until spring. So, like, I think Sundance Film Festival does like a writers competition and stuff, but um, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. If somebody picks it up to make it a movie, cool. If somebody doesn't, then at least I tried, and I'll probably write another one. I have a ton of ideas, so I'm actually kind of really enjoying the process of writing a movie script. coming up with characters, what their motives are, and stuff like that. It's like writing a book, just different. It's you don't need so much detail in the scenery and stuff. You just need the action and the words. So, I don't know, it's pretty I like it, I enjoy it. I downloaded an app on my phone, so I write on my phone, so it automatically formats it to script style, so I don't have to, like, go onto the computer and just anyways, I'm freaking blabbing. Let's get into this episode with Anne-Marie, shall we? Also follow her, check her out, and, I'm sure you'll be able to be updated on the movie that will be coming out in 2026. All right, let's go. Where the Weird Ones Go Productions.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. So happy to have you here. I have a lovely guest. Her name is Anne-Marie Bahny, and I'm so happy to talk to her. So, Anne-Marie, if you don't mind letting the good people know a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I have been 14 years working in the mental health field. I'm an assistant director over at Best Self. We do care management for our clients, so we link them with resources. And I also act. We're filming a movie currently. It's called The Lady of Castle de la Morte, and it's a 1940s black and white kind of Mel Brooks style horror comedy about a vampire, which is myself, the lady. There's a lot of killing, some Nazi soldiers. So it'll be interesting. It's during French and German war. So I'm not particularly fond of either in this movie, but I end up becoming allies with the French so that they leave me alone and kill some Nazis.
And then all the Nazis die, correct?
Yeah,
All of them.
They will be eaten by me. Yeah, killed and yes. And then
I
we
love
plan
it.
on any of our soldier Nazi uniforms. We're planning a nice big huge bonfire afterwards. So we'll be burning all the
Nice.
Nazi stuff. So we'll have a nice big celebration afterwards. Yeah, it'll be quite
That's
interesting.
awesome. I like that.
Mm.
So have you acted before this?
Yes. I've been doing acting since 2009.
Oh, wow.
I started out with that was my first film. I started with Slime City Massacre by Greg Lamberson, and just kind of happened on it. I'm big on zombies, so I went to
Me too.
yeah. I went to a zombie, I don't even know what you want to call it, like party with a friend of mine. And after the party, there was a couple people that were in like little, they call them like just areas for questions and stuff, and they were just interested. And Michael O'Hare, who he passed away a few years ago, but he approached us and said, you guys are zombies, you look great. Would you ever want to be in films? We're like, yeah, okay, whatever, sure, yeah. And I gave him my information. I was like, okay, I'm filming. I don't know how to act. So he never got a hold of us for a while. But then probably 4 or 5 months after that, he did email me and said, we are doing this film. It's called Slime City Massacre. It's going to be down at Buffalo Terminal. If you guys are interested, come on down. We spent the whole summer filming this movie as extras and stuff, and it was quite. And then I just met other people through that movie, and just kind of continued after that.
That's cool. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I had a friend. I have a friend. She does a movie review podcast, YouTube channel.
Oh wow.
and
Okay.
it's all horror movies and stuff like that. But I think it was before she had kids, maybe not. Um, but she tried to go and act, and she said it was before the Me Too movement. So this it was probably before her kids because her kids are young. Um, but she said that when she went, she sat down in front of the guy. She did a whole like monologue and stuff like that, and then the guy goes, "You look great. You look honestly, your face is great for this, but you're too short." And stuff like that. And so she didn't get any acting gigs, and I was
Is
like,
it like
that's
a
so
local
weird.
movie?
I don't know. I don't know exactly. I didn't ask any further questions. I just thought it was weird that they would say that you're too short because women are normally smaller in stature anyway. So why does height matter for
Yeah.
female
I mean,
actresses? You know what I mean?
Buffalo's become huge with like Hollywood movies. Um
Yeah.
and so I've done, let's see, which one was it? The Purge, the first Purge. I was an extra in that one. And Nightmare Alley with Bradley Cooper. I was in that one. But certain parts, like unless you're just gonna be an extra walking around, there might be a requirement because they might want to do
Oh, okay.
stand-ins for like the actresses, or yeah, so sometimes they do have like a specific body type, like costume size, so like if they want a 6, I'll be like, I'm not a 6. Forget it. I'm not going to be able to fit into any of their costumes. I mean, I can squeeze my ass in there, but oh, can we say that word? I don't know what if you're like a
Yeah.
PG.
No,
Okay.
you can say however you. I want
Okay.
everybody to feel when people come on. I want them to be themselves. So be as authentic as you want to be. So,
Yeah.
but
So yeah, there might have
that
been there might have
makes
been a requirement.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense actually. Now that you
A
say
lot
that,
of our movies, like a
uh,
lot of the local movies that we do here, I mean, if like with Ty Chaman, that's who's doing the movie now. We've been friends for like 12 years now. Um, and I've been in a couple things. We started out with Terror Technologies group. It was a zombie group that goes and does charity work, and then all the money we raised went to the food bank of Western New York to help the food bank with the homeless. So we met there,
oh, wow.
and he started writing and producing. So it's kind of like you're in a network. I get how Adam Sandler movies, you're always like, why are they all the same people in these movies? Because once you have a network of people you know and trust, you don't really sway from that. So
Hmm.
we're all kind of in the same you know little networking system, and you kind of stick with the people that you trust and know. So I've been in a few things with Ty, and he's a good dude. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a couple other things after this movie. He's got some other stuff coming up. I think
Nice.
there's one. It's called Bubenstein. It sounds worse than it is. It's based on a book that was well, but it is insinuated sexual, movie kind of thing. It's a Frankenstein type movie. Um, and then we are doing an animated series of superheroes called Fum Ducks, and that's going to be coming out after we film this movie. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So there's a lot of kind of cool stuff going on here. Hmm.
That's dope. That's really cool. Um, man, I one of the questions that I wanted to ask you because I saw that you were named as a producer for Lady De Lamore,
Hmm.
and I wanted to ask you what is the process of producing a movie? What does that entail?
A lot of behind the scenes stuff. I help with the props. We've been purchasing a lot of stuff from our campaigns, so we're making most of the stuff. So like we have a warehouse that we are renting out, and we're gonna be building the set. So we get a lot of the stuff. So I help, do that kind of stuff. When I'm not in a scene or doing anything with my part, then I will help out with helping the actors get their parts right, maybe some makeup stuff. So it's basically just helping out the director any way possible.
Oh, all right. That's cool. I always thought like I don't know what I thought, to be honest, what producing a movie was, but I guess that makes sense to be providing the director with what they need, That makes
Oh yeah,
100%
assistance.
now that you say that, total sense now that you say that, because I've always was like an executive producer, the producer,
Mm-hmm.
the assistant executive producer. I'm like, what is all this stuff? But I
Yeah,
guess it's just a
a
bunch
lot
of
of it too,
people
though.
that just assist.
Well, a lot of it too is so during the movie, when they do like the fundraisers, there'll be perks, and if you depending on how much you donate, you'll get that credit in there too, that you donated, because that money goes towards like paying the actresses and actors and the food that we provide for everybody, the outfits, whatever that we need, because we got to pay for the cameras, the camera staff. We have, you got the boom mic staff, you got the camera guy, you have their assistants, you got script readers. So it's a lot. And, unless it says in there, like, not paid, because I've done a lot of free, most of my stuff I do is based on just, I'll give back. Like, I didn't, for this movie, whatever I would have got as an actress, I put back into the movie so that we can get better props and better outfits and, stuff like that. So it's to help pay for all the other people that are involved in the movie. So
Well, that was
it's
nice of you.
a lot. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, because
That's cool.
most people don't have, a lot of people have side jobs. Most people don't have, full-time jobs. So, that's my contribution. Is this acting allows me to kind of de-stress myself from my everyday work and be somebody else for a little bit, So it is my coping skill. As crazy it might seem, but yeah, everybody's got to have a coping skill. This is mine.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've always, when I was a kid, I always was like, man, I want to act. But I think for me, well, some of my friends think that I can, but I don't know if I want to 100%. But I always,
You do
like I said,
extra, like
right.
be like an extra, like
There's
there's always
that.
like extra stuff. You have
Yeah.
I don't know, we just did a film called Turn Up the Night, like about a rock band and the life behind it. So I was extra in that to help them out. So you need people, like, when they're up on the stage and they're doing their performing, their song, you need people in the crowd. So you necessarily might not get paid, but you'll be seen in the movie. So, and you don't have lines. I mean, you might just have to like scream or yell or, be whatever, but
Or
that's
point
always
at
fun
the
too.
camera and wink.
I don't care. I'll do whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I'm telling you. I did seriously notice your Sasquatch, so I'm kind of like I'm liking that. I love that. I'm a big
Oh, thanks. It
I don't know
used
if
to
you're
smell really good
Trailer Park Boys,
because
but, mm,
Trailer
but
Park
it smelled
Boys,
like,
yeah, I like that.
so yeah,
It
I'm prone to the
well,
same patch,
it didn't smell gross. It smelled
like,
flowery, but it's kind of worn
mm,
off now.
it looks like it would
So
smell kind of like body odor.
that's
I
what
don't know.
you would think, right? It should smell
Or maybe
like that.
vanilla. Maybe Sam Squash is a vanilla guy. I don't know.
I could see that too,
I think so.
100%. But it
Yeah.
was definitely
Cherry.
like some kind of flower thing, and it was really when I first hung it here. I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna get ridiculous," and then it eventually, obviously, faded away the first day.
Yeah.
Really,
That's like what's that fruit stripe gum? You put in your mouth and it's like 2 seconds later it's done.
or the zebra kind. I remember the zebra when
Yeah,
I was a
fruit stripe.
kid.
It's called, yeah, like fruit stripes. It was like
Oh, is that what it was called?
yeah, fruit stripe. Yeah. Yep. You
Oh
put it
my
in
god.
you
Yes.
chew it for 2 seconds, and then it's like, "Ugh." No, and
Yeah,
then you
you
either throw it out or
literally.
swallow it.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. Like, and the burst of flavor was always amazing. And then you're
Yeah,
like, where the
that's it.
fuck did it go?
Fun. In, like, 2 seconds, I'm like, "Oh, I need another piece." It's okay,
Yeah,
they don't
I'd go
gum
through.
doesn't last long anyway, I end up swallowing it, so,
No, that's true.
yeah.
That's
I'm gonna
true.
I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna have a big wad of gum in my, like, gut or something. Uh,
Can you imagine? Could you imagine they do an autopsy and they just pull out
ugh,
this ball of gum?
yeah, I'm telling you right now, I think me and my sister honestly probably swallowed the gum just so we could see if it would, like, blow bubbles out of our ass. It never did. Never did. No. That was false. Very false.
Balls, yeah, like the seeds
Yeah, so
growing inside your stomach.
always wanted to have something, like just a little seed of, I don't know, apple tree growing out of my mouth.
Yeah, coming out.
Guess not.
I,
It's
I was always
it's
told
fake.
not to
Fake
swallow
news.
the watermelons. And fake news for sure.
Fake news.
For
Fake news.
sure.
Mm-mm.
So, another question I have for you is so since you work in the mental health field too, uh, a lot of like with when it comes to acting and they get deep into a character, um, have you ever noticed anybody that has had a hard time transitioning out of the character? Be like, I guess this would happen with like with dark films, like serious dark films and stuff like that, where they're portrayed like Evan Peters with the Jeffrey Dahmer series, where he had to do like a whole therapy, like a month of therapy just to come out of the character. So have you I was just curious if where you're in the field of both, if you've ever had to help somebody or if you've ever noticed anybody that needed kind of like help transitioning themselves out of character.
Not really. I mean, most of the people that like are in my little group, we're already crazy anyway, so it's normal for us to be like that. Like if I could
Yeah.
have the accent and talk like that all the time, I would totally do it. But real life comes in. But no, I haven't. But I have heard that because when you were talking about Evans, I was like, I didn't know about him, but the I just watched the Ed Gein um documentary. You know who that is? The serial killer, yeah. The guy who actually
Yeah,
had
the
played
guy that
Ed Gein. Yeah, he was
Charlie
really
Hunnam.
messed up. Yeah, well, so I guess actually after that film, it was so like intense that he drove, I think it was Wisconsin, to the gravesite of Ed Gein and talked to him and said, like, I, I played your part. I don't want you anymore in my life. I'm just talking to you, telling you I'm done. I'm done with you. So it's kind of like his closure, which I thought was
Mm-hmm.
kind of cool because that's, it's like a process for him that he was like, okay, I'm done with your character. I don't want nothing to do with you anymore. I hope I told your story, to the best of my abilities, but I don't want any more to do with you. And that's how he kind of like separated his heart to close it out.
Wow, that's
Yeah, so
interesting. I didn't
I
know
thought that was
that.
very, yeah, I didn't either. I just I read that and I was like, that's really good. I mean, that was therapeutic for him to kind of go there and just be like, I don't want to think about you. I don't want to nothing. I did this for you. I did this for the viewers to get your story, and I want nothing else to do with you. But he drove down and did this at the gravesite so that he would just get rid of that whole persona and just got rid of it and was done.
Wow.
So I definitely could
Wow.
see that happening here.
Yeah. They say that I don't know if this isn't if this is true or whatever, but the reason why Heath Ledger had his overdose was because he was trying to transition out of being the Joker from
Oh,
the Batman
right.
movie, and I don't really think that. I just think he had a drug problem,
Yeah.
due to mental health issues. I don't think it was really the character because he was in the middle of filming another movie. I can't
Yep.
remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was confusing, but it was amazing at the same time
Was it another
because you
Fast and
had
Furious? Was it?
no, it was like I can't remember it, but it was it had Johnny Depp. It had God dang um the English guy there, Jude Law,
Oh,
and there was a couple others that like played his character throughout the entire movie. So like Heath Ledger had his part, and I can't. I'll have to look it up and
yeah.
talk about it in the intro that I do. Because like it's the name of it is escaping me right now, but he was in the middle of doing it's like a dream sequence, and it was just like a bunch of different scenes, like like an alternate reality, like your reality is constantly changing throughout the movie
Hmm.
or whatever. And he was supposed to be the main character throughout the whole thing, but since he passed, like I said, Johnny Depp and Jude Law and a couple other guys took over, and it made so every time the reality changed, the his character would change actor,
I'm gonna watch that now.
and
I was
it
so
did
sad.
yeah, it was real, it was so confusing, but it was made so well, and it was intriguing throughout the entire thing. So I don't think like when he first passed, everybody's like, "Oh, he killed himself because he couldn't deal with being the character of the Joker," and I was like, "That's not true. I don't believe you."
Well, everybody's gonna make their
And
own,
then,
assumption of
true,
what happened
that's true,
because, they just want to be a part of it. So it's nobody will know but
that's
him,
true.
and he's not here. So yeah,
Right, right.
unfortunate.
Um, it is unfortunate because he was great, and I enjoyed
Hmm.
everything he was ever in. And from the first time I ever saw him to the last time I saw him in a movie, I was just like, anything he touched was like gold, in my
Hmm.
opinion. So,
Yeah.
he was still pretty young, and he still had a lot in front of him, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, so on that line, so what I wanted to ask you, what exactly, if you can, what exactly you do for work?
Um. So I started out in like a they don't really call them day treatment programs, but I ran groups to kind of teach different skills and help people understand some of their mental health issues. We have like tons of those. Like, so we'll have a depression group to help them understand that. We have coping skills. There's daily living skills because a lot of people, you know, just have a hard time even brushing their teeth. So we'll have classes like that. Schizophrenia groups. That's actually my I don't even say favorite, but those are the clients that I find the most fascinating are the schizophrenics. Um, so yeah, but yeah, and then after I did that, my supervisor went over and started the health homes, which is the care management agency to help. So they're more of less clinic and more hands-on of resources. So people are homeless, we try to help them find housing, um, food stamps, Medicaid, providers, medical providers. Some people don't have a doctor, dentist, so that's what we do. We kind of help them with those things. I was a care manager myself, and I kind of just there was really only a few of us, so I kind of went up the chain very quickly, and now I'm the assistant director, and I've been the assistant director for there's a multiple of us, but that's where I prefer to stay, to help not only staff grow as leaders, but also still have some interaction with the clients as well.
Nice. Uh,
Hmm.
did you so what interested you to get involved in the mental health field?
I really don't even know because you're in high school and they're always like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And then they push you to, pick a field. so that you can just start whatever. And I was like, I don't know, I'll be a lawyer. Be a lawyer. I had a what does she teach? I remember what she English, maybe. Well, anyway, I had a teacher who came up to me and she was like, I notice you are always like the helper of your friend groups. She's like, have you ever thought about going into like counseling? I was like, nope. So I tried some college classes and I did the counseling plus I added in the criminal justice classes as well because originally my thought was I didn't like school counselors. I thought they were kind of pointless and useless. So I wanted to change that in the schools. Or I was kind of infatuated with like young and mostly boys because I don't know, they're just more I don't know, easier to work with for me, I guess. I don't know. I had a lot of more guy friends and I was kind of a tomboy growing up, so that's kind of but like teenagers who were committing crimes. So like, and I followed Eric Smith. He was back in I want to say 93. He was a 13-year-old and he was tried as an adult for his crimes. And I kind of followed that case for ever. And that kind of got me into that. But then I ended up getting diagnosed with cancer, with leukemia. So I didn't go right from school on to a job, and then I got pregnant. So then so it wasn't 12 years until I got in there. So I actually started out I was going to go in for a secretary job in the mental health field to get my feet back in. And when I went to go interview, they didn't take me. I was kind of upset. And the lady called me, who was my previous boss, and she said, "Are you still looking for a job?" I'm like, "Yes." So she said, "Well, I couldn't offer you the position because the person was still in that spot. They moved to a different location, and then they interviewed me for the job for the counseling. And then when she moved over to the care management, I moved over there, and the rest is history." So yeah.
Wow. Did you? So you said that you were interested in, I guess, helping with teenage boys that were committing crimes, and you were interested in that. Like what?
Yeah.
So you touched on obviously like murder and stuff like that with
Yeah.
that one kid. So were you trying to, like, did you want to work with kids that were like violent crimes, or
Yeah.
was it just like any
Yeah.
crime?
No, like violent, just to kind of get into because a lot of the pleas that for murders and really heinous crimes is
Yeah.
always mental health. They're always going
Yes.
towards they're mentally ill, and most of it would be like schizophrenia. And that's a diagnosis that I just find most interesting.
Yes. Me too. They talk about it a lot when, or at least I've been hearing a lot about it within the paranormal field, like schizophrenia. What was I? There, I had a woman on. She's been on at least twice. Her brother's schizophrenic, and they were talking about how it's more of like a possible demon possession than it is actually a multiple personality disorder. A lot of times, maybe not every time, um, but she was telling me stories about her brother and how he would just like it was just like that, different person. And
Yeah. Schizophrenia is it's more something in the brain that
mhm,
like it's like a synapse. It kind of doesn't just go together. A lot of the times they don't remember stuff that they do because it's like either they'll make up personalities that they do or they just hear voices, and a lot of them are demonic. So
mhm.
it'll be a lot of like, telling them to do bad things. So, and then, eventually when you hear these things over and over and over again, you're going to act on that at some point because they just feel like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is my direction. This is my guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I was curious of like, well, I can probably like if I heard a voice or something, or I had a feeling, I would know that that's just a feeling, but they don't. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
kind of made me a little bit, curious about that whole, where does that start from? How can we say like, yeah, we're fine. And I know it's just a thought, but certain people can't, you know?
Right. 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 I I always wondered like if there's like a building blocks to schizophrenia. Are people born schizophrenic, or do like things happen like um like in a lot of stories, or even actually I think there's a few movies that portray it too, where um they're kind of abused and they create this other like persona to protect themselves and stuff like that. I think Split did a good job with schizophrenia, um, and it made it not only entertaining but it sort of informative. But like yeah, so I guess with what you know of it, is it something that is developed over time, or are people just like kind of born schizophrenic?
I think I mean, it is passed down because it is so like if there's a parent that has schizophrenia,
Mm-hmm.
it will go down to somebody else. Um,
Okay.
I mean, there's multiple personalities. Like I think Split was kind of more of like the personalities. Um, the schizophrenia is more of like hallucinations, hearing voices, them telling them what things to
Oh,
do.
okay.
So there's different. So multi-personalities would be development of a coping skill, where they develop different personalities because they're coping with trauma. Schizophrenia usually is triggered because of some trauma that came out, and they'll call it like most people call it their episode. They could be normal, just doing their thing, and then a traumatic thing happens that triggers that whatever in their brain, and it just comes out, and that's how it starts. But um, it's usually there, and it'll come out from severe trauma. Sometimes it's usually like abuse, like bad abuse, like sexual abuse, rapes, mostly like family stuff, so incestual things, or like I mean Ed Gein, the story there is basically like his mom. She obviously had some mental health issues and just made her children, just treated them horribly, and abuse and stuff like that. So that's kind of, and
Mm-hmm.
very controlling families. But yeah, it's there, and something triggers it to come out.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
I
I
think a good
always
one was like Shutter Island is a good one
oh my
too.
god, yeah. Yes. That makes sense. Yeah.
That's definitely schizophrenia right there, because he had no idea of anything that he was doing. Everything he was doing he thought was real,
Mm-hmm.
and that's to me that's a great depiction of schizophrenia. Like their reality is real, and you're witnessing it as like that's not happening, but it is to them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't even think Shutter Island didn't even cross my mind. That's a good point.
yeah,
I really enjoy that. I was like the one after they reveal it and stuff. I was like, "Whoa,
yeah,
dude, that's
that's
crazy."
yep. But his reality was just like you were like, oh my god, this is happening to him. It wasn't. It was
All
all
right.
to him. It was, but to everybody
Mm-hmm.
witnessing this, none of that was happening. Nothing. None of
Mm-hmm.
that. It was all just
Yeah.
made up in his head. And I could never imagine living like that. It'd be so
Oh
scary.
my gosh. Yeah, no, I couldn't. I couldn't either. I think I see things as it is right now. So, I mean, maybe I'm actually seeing them though. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, there are
So,
spiritual people who can see, ghosts and spirits. So it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I always thought like, okay, how do you like determine are you mentally ill, or are you really seeing ghosts and spirits and, you know, hearing all these things? Difference is people usually get it on video or camera, and other people are also seeing it, so you're not the only one.
Right, right.
Mhm.
So say I have this experience.
Mhm.
Um, so this is a real experience. The listeners, I'm so sorry to tell you the story for the 100th time, but you'll get over it. I believe it. There's actually a few of you who've told me, "Oh, I don't mind it when you tell the story
Oh.
again and again." But anyways,
Again.
so I had just tried to um, take my own life. I was 9 years old, and about a week after that incident, I'm sitting on the swing set of my grandparents, behind my grandparents' house. I live with my grandparents at the time, and to the out of the corner of my eye, I see this. I see something next to me, so I turn my head, and it's a full figured person, except I can see through him, and I know it's a man. I can't see his face. His face is very like wispy and distorted, but he's wearing a suit, but not like a formal suit, like I go to the office suit. Um, and then he had something in his lap or in his hands or something that was stringy, and I always equate it to either being a bowl of noodles, so he's eating a bowl of noodles like a bowl of ramen or something like that, or he's knitting something and he has yarn. So whatever it is, it's just stringy. And I'm looking at him, and he goes, "Be patient." And I go, "About what?" And he's like, "You'll know." And then like I turn my head, and I have like it was exactly like sleep paralysis, where I'm holding on to the chains of the swing for dear life, and I'm just staring at this one rock on the ground in front of me, and it felt like forever, and it was probably only like a minute, maybe less. And finally, I just felt I got the courage to turn my head and look at the swing again, and he was gone. And as soon as I realized he was gone, I got up and ran. But at 9 years old, I'm like, be patient. Maybe I'll get something, some like candy, or I'll be able to play video games, or I'll be able to
Yeah.
play on the computer. Just be patient, and just act right, and you'll get the things that you want. But what I really think what it was more of like a life mantra, which I've kind of practiced now, is just be patient and stuff. But so I'm not trying to like equate that to schizophrenia or anything like that, but is that something like, so having that experience, how would you determine if that's a hallucination or a real thing?
Well, being that you're young, um, that could have been a coping mechanism for you,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it was a good thing. It wasn't like negative. So that was,
Right.
a positive coping skill that you developed as a child. Um, it also could have been a lot of times, I think, and this is just me, but when people have like near death experiences or, stuff like that, it opens up a part of your brain that you're more sensitive to things. You know, I feel like, I went through a lot of stuff when I was sick, so um I could feel things. Like I could feel energy when I walk into a room with people. Um I've seen, weird thing. I have very vivid dreams sometimes. They don't mean much to me at the time, and I always try to like decode stuff, and I'm like, okay, stop decoding things. But yeah, I mean, but it could be both. I mean, kids do cope, they develop coping skills. You don't even know that. You don't know what the term
Yeah.
is, but we all do it because we're human. So that was your coping skill. And if it was something that you experienced because maybe you opened up something, you could take it as that too. It just depends on what you believe.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But it was a
Um,
positive experience. So either way,
yeah,
it wasn't something that was terrible. So it was either your way of coping with certain things, and that's something that you maybe needed to hear, or you opened up something, and kids especially, they're more apt to have that sense still open. As we age, we kind of like close it off. We don't want to think about that stuff anymore, but kids have that ability. We lose it when we become older because we choose not to see that anymore.
Yeah, the sense of wonderment is kind of like fades away as we grow older, and we focus more on our reality as we
Exactly.
grow up. So
Hmm.
yeah, my experience, I've had a lot of strange experiences that I can't explain all through my childhood. Less as an adult, but I still have had experiences as an adult. And I do think that maybe I'm a little more sensitive than most, but like I'm not like gifted in any kind of way. But I
Being
wanted to
sensitive
ask
is
you,
not being sensitive is it's not a gift. It is because you're allowing yourself to actually have those experiences. Most people
right?
who might have something like an experience like that would just be like, yeah, no, and they'll brush it off and they won't accept it. But
Mm-hmm.
that is a gift. It's you're allowing yourself to actually be guided by whatever you have around you as your guides, telling you to be patient, telling you, whatever. That's just, it's like your subconscious is telling you to do, that these are the things that you need to focus on because that's what you need to hear, but some people don't want to,
Yeah,
they just kind of shove it off as nothing, or they get scared. So they think it's like, oh, it's evil spirits. I don't
yeah.
think, I mean, I'm sure there's evil out there and bad
Mm-hmm.
things, but it's only out there when you will let it come in and you allow it to be like that. So, I mean, I've been to plenty of places. I know you do paranormal stuff, talk about that. I've been to places that people are like, "Oh, this happened," and I don't have that same experience. Maybe I might have
Mm-hmm.
more of a, I've been to. I don't know if you ever heard of the Hinsdale House.
Oh yes, yep.
Okay, yeah. So I have been there, and um, I didn't really have a negative. My feelings there were more sad. Like there was a lot of sadness around
Mm-hmm.
that area. Um, I didn't really think it was, evil, but then I always think, people go to these places, these haunted houses, or these places that have spirits. If that was me and I was in the house and I was a spirit and people kept taunting me, I'd be like, you know what, fuck you guys. I'm gonna haunt you and poltergeist you because you're kind of aggravating me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you go in
yeah.
there with like love and light and positiveness, I mean, that you're going to get that experience out of there. So yeah, things happen, but I just felt sad. I don't know exactly like the whole story of that house, but it just felt more more sadness and more like, I don't know, just it wasn't scary. From It wasn't a scary thing. I just felt like whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, we've experienced all kinds. I just went to, God, what the heck's that place called? I just had it up. Hold on. This is a good one too. It's what is it called? Where is it? Oh, Wildwood Sanitarium. And that was a good place too. That was a nice
Where is
one. The
that at?
people, I have to look it up. It wasn't that far from. So me and my sister will just go, and I find weird places just to go and take walks or do fun stuff. And I like saw this house, and I'm like, oh, let's go here. There actually is a kind of a cool story that goes with it, but I just want to find out where it was because I don't remember. Wildwood is. What do we do without Google? I mean, I don't
I
even know
know,
how.
right?
I'm I'm
There
I'm,
was
I'm
a
a bad
time
talent.
where I never used it.
I had to use a payphone.
Me too. I used the
So I'm
payphone.
just like, what? Payphones? People don't even know what that is.
I used to walk down in high school. I used to walk down the street to go to the payphone to call my
Yeah.
high school
All right.
girlfriend,
Oh yeah,
Salamanca.
yeah, yeah. Salamanca, New York. Yeah, we had pagers,
Okay.
but yeah, Salamanca, and the people who are restoring that building are amazing. They're so wonderful. They're so nice. But we did use some of their equipment and stuff. So this is so weird. So me and my sister went to, and I'm not very religious. I'm not Catholic or anything. We were grown up Episcopalian, and then I went to a Presbyterian church. But I'm spiritual. I believe in something up there because we cannot be alone, and you got to have somebody to talk to and help guide you. But we went to the Queen Fatima or the Fatima Shrine in Lewiston, and just to check it out. I've never been there before, and we got little rosary things, with the crosses on them and stuff. Just plastic ones that I think kids made. So I was like, yeah, sure, we'll put a couple bucks in there and we'll just take one. Dipped it in some holy water, like, oh, I don't know what to do with this, but we're gonna put in some holy water. We just for our own whatever, we're like, we never been here before, so let's just put these in our pockets. And then we drove, and then we forgot about it. And so we had some conversations on the spirit box, and we went into a couple rooms, and we went to this one room. There was like a bunch of dolls, and they were using the spirit box, and it kept going on to this. It kept stopping at a station where it sounded like they were doing Hail Mary, full of grace, just this whole like prayer. And I'm like, well, they said that the guy was a preacher. So like, oh, maybe we're in the middle of one of their sermons or something. But it kept doing it. It kept doing it over and over again. Like the whole time, he's like, "This has never happened before. I don't know why it's doing this. We've never had this in this room ever." So we just took it as we were just making up things, trying to figure out what it was. Oh, our session was over. Some new people were coming in. I get in the car, and I sat in my seat because my sister drove home, and I sat and I was like, why is this poking me? And I looked and I was like, I pulled out my rosary. I go, oh my God, I forgot I had this in my pocket. And then it clicked. So I ran back in to talk to the guy, and I'm like, he's like, are you okay? Did you forget something? I'm like, no. I said, but I have to tell you this before we leave because it's going to bother me if I don't. I said, and I'm holding up this rosary. He's like, what is that? I was like, it's a rosary. I said, do you remember when we were in that room and they kept saying Hail Mary and then full of grace, whatever? I remembered watching movies, or my mom would say, they were saying the rosary prayer. That's what it was. I said, that's why we kept hearing, and because it was going through the whole thing. It went through everything, like a couple times, like not in full things, but it kept coming back. And I'm like, they were doing the rosary. I said, and me and my sister had rosaries in our pockets. And he was just like flabbergasted. He was like, this never happened before. Oh my God, that makes total sense. We were trying to figure out why we would hear, that, and they've never heard that before. So this was new for them. And we were just like, I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a church sermon. That kind of made sense to me. I was like, that's what we kept getting. They were like letting us know that they knew we had rosaries in our pockets, and they were saying the rosary. So that's kind of how we were telling them.
Wow.
That's what we say. That's our story. But what's the coincidence that we have rosaries? They never heard this before in this spirit box. And then all of a sudden, that's what it is. I was like,
that's amazing.
What it was. I said, and I don't know the whole thing, but it went through a couple of things, and we're like, and we kept saying, are we in a sermon? Are we bothering you guys? Are we interrupting your church service? Just trying to figure out what the heck they were saying or why they were saying this. And when I told him, I said, I don't know if this means anything, but we both had rosaries in our pockets when we were doing that session in that room, hearing that stuff. So I just thought it was kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool. I always find it interesting, all these stories, when it comes to something that they think is negative or that is unwelcome or whatever. They always invoke the name of Jesus. And I feel like it's probably more of intention than the actual name, possibly. But I always find that interesting how it always you use the name, and then the whatever is happening kind of like just stops. I've used it. I don't know. Have you ever seen like shadow people or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen things like, I actually got a cat because I kept seeing in my old house shadow things. So then I would blame it on, oh, that's just my cat. So yeah, I have seen, weird stuff. So, but I'm to me, it's not scary. Like in my house now, I'll hear. I mean, my son's home now, but I'll hear things like the TV on. It sounds like people are talking. Sometimes I'll hear my name, like Ma, and I'm like, okay, I know it's not him, but it's not. It doesn't because it's not negative. I don't my how. I mean, it doesn't. There's no feelings of
Yeah.
negativity, so I just welcome it. I'm just like I just say, don't scare me. Don't do anything bad or negative, and you can stay here. I really don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I say a lot of the same things, especially like so I've experienced shadow people my entire life. And when I was a kid it was obviously scary back then.
Well, yeah,
But as an adult, yeah, as an adult they because they're never doing anything. They're not even moving. They're just kind of standing there. But I decided just just to say it. I was walking out of my room. It was so I recently had a daughter, and so she is, gosh, she's under 2 years old, but I want to say 18 months. Um, so before her and her mother moved in, I had a whole bunch of experiences of shadow people, and so once she was born and they were both living at the house. Um, I was walking out of my bedroom one night to go to the bathroom, and I just saw something out of the corner of my eye in the hallway, and I just turned my head, and I could see like this figure, and I was just like, and I again like I've never felt fear as an adult from them and whatnot, so I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna say it just to say it. And I was just like, in the name of Jesus, you are not welcome here, or whatever. And then, like, literally, as I said it, it was just like, gone. And I was just like, whoa, that actually works. You know, it was crazy. Because I do think, so, like, obviously everybody's entitled to their own opinion, their own beliefs. And I'm not going to poo poo on anybody for having them. But, like, as recently, I do think that I might be Christian, or I do believe in a God for sure, and I'm and I feel like I'm being drawn or being pulled in that direction spiritually. So that's why I'm falling into that category. Um, and I know, I've said it before, and I know not everybody's experiences. Everybody is going to experience things the same way, and this is just how I feel. And I don't expect anybody to have the same calling, or I guess whatever, however you want to call it. Um, so I think, from a Christian standpoint, obviously that name means something, but at the same time, at when I did use it, I wasn't 100% believer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just using it just to use it, just to see what would happen at that time. Uh, so I kind of think like just because if God is real, He gave us the dominion over Earth. So no matter what, we have authority here. So whatever we say to the other realms that happen to be visiting, if we're speaking on authority, they have to listen because we have dominion, technically. So I don't know. That was a long way of saying that I think that we own this realm.
I think the whole like prayer and things that people do is because it's based on something positive.
Yes.
So you might not have felt like, oh, I'm not, religious, but at that time, that was something you grabbed that was positive. So it's the
Mm-hmm.
positivity that releases the negative stuff. So if people believe in Jesus and God, Allah, whatever, it's because it's a positive entity. Like I'm spiritual. I don't know exactly what's up there, what's out there, but there is a higher power. So I'll pray to God, but I don't know who that is, but it's a positive thing for yourself. And that's something that you believe in. Everybody has to believe in something. So that's why it works. Because if you're feeling something negative, you have to fight it with something positive, no matter what it is. And if people believe that Jesus or the Bible or God or how you were at that moment, that was your positive. So it worked because you were being positive and you believed in something that wasn't that negativeness. That's what I feel like. So that's why people grab to that, because it's a positive thing.
That
It's
makes
something that
sense.
they believe in that's positive. So that's why people will read off the Bible, because that's their positive. It's not a negative thing to them, it's something positive. So that's what negates the negative stuff. And it takes a lot more positive, which is why repetitiveness, like if you see a lot of stuff in the movies with like exorcisms and they have to repeat it and repeat it because it's so easy to be negative for every one negative thing. And we tell this to our mental health patients, our clients. It's like one negative thing, you have to think of 5 positive things to get rid of that negative. So you're going to repeat things.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to repeat and repeat and repeat those positive things in your mind, in your loud, until you feel it and believe, and then you manifest the positive energy.
That's a good way of putting it. I like that.
I sage my
Early.
house every once in a while. I'll just sage it with my sage and just say, no negativity here. This is a positive place. If you are positive, you could stay. If you're negative, you need to leave. I will not allow you to be in my home.
Yeah.
And I've been in this house for 15 years and I've heard things, seen things, but nothing's ever hurt me, bothered me. We coexist.
Nice. I think sage is a good thing. So I'm part native, and my dad always burnt. Growing up, my dad always burnt sage in the house, and I remember a couple like ceremonies and stuff like that when I was growing up. Like they would have this little dish of burning sage, and they'd use a feather, and they'd do like this cleansing process. And I was like, that's really interesting. And so I do think that things like that are a cleaning agent, um, spiritually. Um, and
Because
then
you believe it's going to work. That's why I believe that
right,
state is going to work and it's going to manifest good things in my house and my life. I do it in a brand new car. I did it in my son's car. I'm like, okay, I'm saving your car. So any negativity that's in this car is out. Get out.
yeah.
And I believe that will work. And it does. And we've been safe in our cars and we've been safe in our house.
There, earlier, I can't remember exactly what we were saying earlier. I had a question. Oh, we were talking about schizophrenia. Anyways, so have you ever been able to notice? Have you ever realized that you don't like somebody and you don't know why?
Yes, but I have a problem. I if somebody is like, I'll give you an example. Like anybody that comes into our building, I want them to all be one. Okay. And that one person that's not in the group, I will try my damnedest to get into that person's head and be like, what can we do to bring you closer to us, to get more positive? So there are people like that I see, and I'm just like, no, I'm gonna make you better. I'm gonna get you to like either smile or I don't even know. And that's kind of why I feel like I come home and I have to like meditate. I'll have to, which I'm not really always good about it, because I will suck people's energy, like the negative energy. They'll take my energy out, boom, boom,
Mm-hmm.
and eat it up. And and I come home drained, so drained. But I don't think there's one person I can't crack. I will try to continue. Well, I can't say not, because there was one where sometimes just people just don't want. They just have so much going on in their lives.
Yeah,
They just don't want to give in and help themselves either. You can only go so far. But I will try. I
absolutely.
will try. I mean, I'm the kind of person like I'll have my best friend. And I hate to out her out, but oh well. We'll be at like 7-Eleven, and I live in South Buffalo. I don't really care where I'm living. She's out in Farmville. So she doesn't get in contact with a lot of people. People will come into my car window and be like, "Do you have $1?" And she's like, don't roll your window down. I'm just like, there are people. What is he gonna do? What is he really gonna do? Stab me through my window? I'm like, so he could have, but I'm like, no. So I'll just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have anything. But I will talk to you. I will smile with you. I will talk to you, whatever. That's usually enough. People are like, I'll compliment somebody on there, like, you did my hair. That was so nice. I'll say something as a stranger. I had a lady walking down. I don't even know who she was, and I said, "Oh, you look really nice." And she had her sandals on. It was freezing. I'm like, "Why are you wearing sandals?" And I saw her feet. She just had a manicure. I didn't know. I go, "Wow, your toes look really, really pretty." And she's like, so she went to this whole story of how she just came out of the manicure and picked this really pretty, this color that she wasn't sure of. And thank you, because now I know it's a nice color. And I'm like, whatever, okay. If I helped you, great. But because you don't know somebody's story. I just feel like you don't know what people are going through. So just to say
Yeah,
hi
for
or be
sure.
nice, even if they're not nice to you, you just say, "Well, have a good day. Sorry. I hope your day gets better," because that might change it. You never know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I try to practice that all the time. And well, there was one time me and my son was having this really bad skin issue, so we were constantly in the store trying to find a new lotion. But we were running through the store real quick because we were gonna be going camping, and I needed to get him some new stuff to make sure like he was going to be okay. Well, because once we were camping, that was it. Like we weren't going to be able to go anywhere to help him or something like that. So we wanted to like get a couple different things. Anyways, so I'm walking down the aisle and I see this woman and her hair looked pretty to me. And I just said, "Oh, hey, your hair looks really pretty." And she goes, "Oh my God, really? Thank you. I haven't even washed it or anything like this. I'm just, like just bumming it out here or something like that." And she lit up and she was like, "Oh my God, really?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, and she said all that, and I was like, I wouldn't have known, because I was continue walking. I just said the compliment and continued walking, and she was just talking behind me all this stuff, and I stopped and I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "That's crazy." I was like, "Well, it looks fantastic." Yeah, I would have never known it was sloppy day or whatever, something like that. And she's just like, she probably went and maybe complimented other people. I don't know. But I do find, so it's really interesting. So there's another podcaster out there, never done anything to me. Every time I've talked to him, everything has been fine. There's no issue. He hasn't done anything negative to me, but for some reason within my soul, I do not like him, and I don't know why. I have no idea why.
Bad
It
energy,
doesn't.
maybe. You
Maybe
can probably, because
it.
we can feel people's energy. So just because they are nice to you or what, I mean, it's fake. Some people are fake and they know how to do
Mm,
that. And you can feel when somebody's not right. You can feel that. And it's your gut. I don't always go with my gut, and I should. But your gut's always, not really, but your gut's always right. It is.
yeah, like rolling your
I picked
window
up this guy
down.
once. Oh my God.
Oh my God,
Well,
that even more so. Why are you picking people up?
okay. So, I don't know, where are you from?
I'm from
No,
Maine.
literally. Okay. So in Buffalo, we have this huge bridge. It's the Skyway.
Yeah.
People cannot be walking on that, okay? This guy was literally walking on the Skyway. Cars are just zooming by. He's gonna get hit. So there was nobody around. Now, why there was nobody around? I don't know. But at the moment I pulled up, nobody was around. And I'm in the middle of this bridge. And I rolled my window down. I said, "You should not be walking on this." I go, "You need to get in my car. We're going down to the off the bridge. You're gonna get hit." So he gets into my car. I drove him down to where he wanted to go. It was like I don't know, a gas station. And I said, "Let's go in the gas station. I'll get you a coffee, but this is where I leave you. This is the end of the road." Because he's like, "Oh, well, I have to go." I'm like, "Nope." I go, "There's truck drivers, whatever." I said, "I'm gonna get you a cup of coffee." I said, "But I'm going home." I said, don't walk on that skyway again. And I told people that, and they were like, what are you hitchhiker? I'm like, he wasn't hitchhiking. I stopped for him.
Uh-huh.
And in my gut, if I didn't, I just had a feeling something was going to happen. I didn't want to read about it in the paper. And I knew God, my spirits, whoever's out there, would not have let me stop if it wasn't necessary. That's how I felt. There was nothing negative about it. He was going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And miraculously, there's nobody behind me. I mean, this is a busy road. Nobody's behind me. Nobody's in front of me. Nobody's on the side. I literally was able to stop, tell him to get in the car, like now, and then go with not a problem. No cars, beeping at me, nothing. So
damn, this is almost like a test. Like, is she gonna stop for this guy and be
yes, of
nice,
course I'm
or is
gonna.
she gonna
I
keep
mean,
driving?
maybe I would be more skeptical next time because, but I don't know. If something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I could be walking out of my house, slip on my stairs, knock my head out, and boom, I'm done.
True.
So, I mean, am I gonna live my life that way, or I'm a helper? That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
you don't have to.
I think that says a lot about your character and about how
I wouldn't tell you to do
sweet
that.
you
I
are.
would tell my son to do that. I would be like, do not pick up strange people. I would tell everybody else not to do that. Listen to my own advice a lot. And I don't know, like you said about intuition, I just knew I had to do it. There was just, I had to. So there's certain things that I do because I feel like I have to. Like I'm being told, you need to do this. It's something you have to do.
Yeah,
So like
absolutely. I feel it.
your experience with the gentleman, apparition that said be patient, that was something you needed to hear for either now or then, but to be patient about something. And I'm sure it makes sense to you now. If it doesn't, it will, because it was your message and it was for you. So you got to listen to those things. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right.
It takes a
No, I
lot of
agree.
energy for whatever other dimensions, other entities, other things to come through. It takes a lot of energy. If you ignore it, well, they just wasted their time. I would come back and do it if I could, if I knew I could, if I knew what was out there, and if I can, I will. I'll be like, yeah, I'll use my energy to tell somebody, hey, you need to do this because something's going to happen if you don't.
Yeah, I think I
Deep.
would do the same
It's
thing.
deep.
It
Now
is
we're
deep.
getting deep. Seriously, sometimes I don't even know what comes out of my mouth. It just does. It just does. I don't know.
Well, it's beautiful. I think I like it. I like everything you said so far, and that was pretty as fuck.
Thank you. Yeah, I have
She's
my
like, I don't know
moment.
what the fuck you said. You know.
Yeah. And then the next time you'll see me, I'll be in like zombie makeup, and you'll be like, "What's wrong with
Ooh,
her?"
I like that.
The people in my church. So we did a movie. It's actually on Tubi. They relabeled it. It's called Homicidal Vengeance. Probably because the title was inappropriate. It was at the time it was called Black Guy in a Rampage, but there was a black guy. But he was a black guy in a rampage.
Yeah.
So part of it was like there were 3 shorts, and the second, I think it was the second one or the third one, was filmed in my church, the Presbyterian church. I said, hey, I'm filming this movie. They had no idea what it was. Didn't care. They trusted me. I said, I'll clean up everything. But yeah, we did this in my church, and I don't even know what my point was.
Me neither.
But shit, that was apparently it was a good story, but I
That could have been really good. Who knows?
don't remember now.
You were just talking about, oh, maybe next time I see you, you might be in zombie makeup, and then you went into that
Oh
spiel.
yeah. Oh, that's right. Thank you. Okay, so they would see some of the stuff that I put on, like, because I friend my church folks, and they're all like older people, and they're like, "You're so beautiful." This is how I talk to. You're so beautiful. Why do you put all that stuff on your face? I'm like, if you go through my probably Instagram, probably would be better, but you'll see. I mean, Freddy Krueger, I done, and I do my own stuff because I just mess around with things. But you should see some of the stuff that I've done for my makeup, and it's kind of
I've checked it out.
yeah.
It's interesting because we we became friends on Facebook, and then I asked you to be on the podcast, and then right after I asked you to be on the podcast, I found your Instagram. So I went through your Instagram, and then somebody named Anne-Marie decided to friend request me literally right the same day that I started following your Instagram. Snapchat.
Suggested friends.
Yes, somebody fucking added me on Snapchat named Anne-Marie, and I was like, what? I was like, this lady wants to, maybe she wants to chit chat or something. And I was like, whatever. And I added it, and then it ended up being some chick trying to get me to be on her to subscribe to her OnlyFans. But anyways,
no, I don't do that. No,
no,
my
you shouldn't.
feet are my feet to myself, and I don't know. I'm not judging anybody who wants to do it.
Me neither. No, I just don't subscribe to it. So it's just
or need.
Yeah. So it's really weird the avenues that they go to try and get new people to subscribe. But
but if you do look at my Instagram, there is you'll see a lot of the stuff that I've done, like makeup wise, and
yeah, it's fantastic.
People are like, why?
It's fantastic.
Why do you do that to your face? I'm like, because it's art and it's fun, and I could be a monster, like, and it's acceptable. And I'm not hurting anybody. It's not real. I'm not. Yeah.
As long as you're not hurting anybody, why does it matter?
No, right. I'm like, I might scare some people, but if you want to be scared, then if you don't want to be scared, don't come to a thing that I'm at. Like, don't go to a haunted house if you don't want to be scared. Don't go. Don't go to a Fright World or whatever and go through a haunted house with scary monsters and clowns if you don't want to be scared. That's the point.
That reminds me, I just saw a video of a lady getting brought out on a stretcher at Disney. I think it might have been today. She had a heart attack on Haunted Mansion ride.
Oh my God. Why? Was it? Yeah, but it could have been the up and down stuff or.
That's true. That's true too.
I mean, you can't. They warn you already. If you have a heart problem or if you're prone to seizures, don't go. It's not just for fun. They tell you that because there's a reason for that. It will trigger things. So
yeah.
But if she did that because she was scared, I mean, come on.
I mean, I don't know. I've never been on the Haunted Mansion ride, so.
I was younger, I think, when I went, but it's just like a elevator, and it opens up, and it's like. You ever see the Haunted Mansion house or the movie with like Eddie Murphy? Yeah, it's just stuff like that. It's not scary. I mean,
okay.
Maybe to a little kid because it's ghosts and stuff, but I can't imagine. So it had to be something that was probably, I'm assuming, something she probably had a heart condition, and maybe it was the stuff in there. Or maybe she's claustrophobic. Who knows?
Maybe.
Hopefully she's okay. I hope she's okay.
I hope so too. Yeah. So what do you have for projects coming up? Do you have any other movies you're working on?
No. If you do more than one, I just told Ty, I'm like, you gotta bring it back down to like focus on one and finish it, and because that's kind of like something that I was like don't understand. Like, finish a movie and then go on to another project, because how can this movie go anywhere if you're bouncing around to different projects? And I've seen that a lot, like, on Facebook, people are like, we're doing this and now we're doing this, and I'm like, you didn't even finish that one. So one, it's like, where's this other movie? And you're already doing another one, and we haven't even seen this one yet. So once we finish this, the Lady of Castle Dalamore, I mean, obviously Ty's going to be doing editing, because edits the movie and it's the sound, and that's going to take quite a while. His next project is the Bubenstein, and I'm hoping to be in some capacity, maybe even if I could just help him out, it's fine too, just a helper or a small little part in that. That's, I think, April. And then in between there, we'll be doing the Fum Ducks, but that's not, it's just we'll be doing voices to characters on animation. I think that'll be kind of fun too. So it's more going to be his project, because he's going to be the one editing and drawing and coloring and doing all that stuff on his computer. We're just looking at things and reading it in a a microphone. Our part's not going to be hard, but I've never done voice acting or anything like that before, and I'm not going to really change my voice. Like for Castle de l'Amour, I do have because it is 1940s, so I've been watching, like, there's actually this comedian who does like a really good, like, a voice of like a fancy lady. So I kind of just did that. I'm not really, yeah. So that's my vampire voice, because I don't like the French in this movie, so I'm not going to have a French accent, because I don't like the French, and obviously I'm against the Germans, and I don't know how old I am, so I could be whatever. It doesn't really kind of matter what accent you really have. So I just figured I'd pick more of like a 40s fancy, you know. So I've been watching a lot of like old films and actresses that were in that time frame and kind of try to pick up that. But so hopefully it would just be this one, and then for me at least, because I'm not trying to be an actress, famous person. My job is my job. But other people who are doing roles in this movie, they'll take several roles on and on and on, because that's their passion. That's what they do for a living. So me, no. I'm gonna wait for the animation series from Ducks. And see, my character is called Bad Kitty, so it's kind of like superheroes with like nonsense powers. I'm somehow like cat, so I think I told him I wanted like cat toys that are like, you can throw it and it, maybe not like kill anybody, because I don't want to hurt nobody, but we'll blow up a little bit and then like they'll be paralyzed for a while so we can escape. I'll
That's
play with
funny.
feathers because they're my cat toys. Catnip. That's my weakness is catnip, so I'll be back over there smoking out my catnip. So yeah, it's just supposed to be just kind of a fun little superhero thing. So
I
yeah,
got you.
that'll be my next project.
Nice. If you guys need any extras, I'm down.
Yeah, come down. We always looking for people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Buffalo's
come down
only
and
like 4 hours away.
yeah. Where'd you say? Oh my
So
god, I'm so horrible with memory. Where are you? Maine?
dare you not
Maine?
remember?
Is it
Yes.
Maine?
Yes, Maine.
And I've never been to Maine, so that's one of my to-do lists is Maine. So I think it's
Oh,
beautiful.
really? Yeah, it is
Yeah, I've
pretty.
never been out there, so that
Yeah,
would be kind of fun.
yeah, you
We like
should
to
come
travel.
out.
We like to travel to all the. Well, it's just more recently because we're advertising for the movie, but like the horror cons and Comic Cons and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yep.
I didn't really think I was gonna like them because I'm just like, I'm not into comics, but it's more than just that. So they're actually really fun,
Yeah.
and it's the whole trip driving down there. We just went to Chicago. I got to see Brendan Fraser. Whew. Um, what else? And there's like some Guardian of the Galaxy character, actors that Ty, is into that, so he got to see them. And then we met. It was a Pennsylvania one. It was just the two of us, and we ended up meeting a lot of like really great people. But we met Lachlan Monroe from like Scream and White Chicks, and so yeah, and he was such a nice guy. Oh, I met one of the guys from God, what's his name? Tom something from Reno 911. Hilarious guy.
New boat goofing.
Yes, that one. He was so. I have a picture on Instagram and Facebook of it. He was so nice and so funny. Oh my god, yeah. So I'm kind of getting more into that because I like the traveling part.
Yeah.
And it's nice when you
I
have a good
do.
traveling partner. So
Yeah, I have. I've been going to a lot of conferences all around.
yeah,
From like North Carolina to Tennessee, and then areas up here and stuff like that too. But I also have like made a lot of connections through the podcast. So other podcasters and YouTubers and stuff like that do stuff, and we'll all meet up and we'll go out and we'll have drinks afterwards after the
that's so
conference and
cool.
stuff, and
So cool.
it is pretty dope. It's
Do you
pretty
go
dope to
and do?
connect with people.
Oh yeah. Do you go and do that? Networking is my thing. Like even at work, everybody's like, if there's something going on, they're like, oh, we'll send Anne-Marie. She loves to talk. And people like to talk to me. So I'm like, well, yeah, if that's my skill and you guys don't want to
Yeah.
bother, then nobody wants to talk to a moonja face. I'll go out there. I was gonna ask is so in Maine, do you guys have like a lot of like haunted like asylums and stuff? Like I love abandoned buildings, like those kind of things
Yeah,
out there.
there's a few of them. There's a couple forts that are said to be haunted. There's a few hotels that are haunted.
Yeah, haunted hotels.
Um, yeah, and all the hotels that are haunted are also still being used. So that's pretty cool. So you can like rent the actual haunted room and stuff like that.
Ooh, would you do
So
that? Would you do it?
I would. I would.
Yeah.
I've stayed at the Conjuring House in Rhode Island
Oh my
overnight.
God. I am so jealous because now there's so much like politics and red tape and whatever crap
Yeah.
going on now. That
It,
sucks. Oh
it
my
was
God.
literally we went literally right before all that bullshit happened.
How was it? Like, what was your experience in there?
So
But like, did you feel
it was
anything?
interesting. We felt I mean a little bit, but I mean obviously everybody's experience is going to be different. It just depends on the day, the night, whatever. Um, we heard Native American drumming. Well, I didn't hear it, but one of the guys heard Native American drumming out in the woods in the trail. And then when we were inside, we did like a Estes. You know what a Estes is, I'm assuming.
I
So
love Sam and Colby, so
my
I don't know if
daughter
you.
loves Sam and
Oh
Colby
my
too.
God. Oh, yeah. So I know what
Yeah,
the Estes method is. That's their favorite, and I love when they do it.
yeah.
So you
So
did
I
that?
did it.
Oh,
I did it in the basement, and it ended up seeming like I was talking to a Native American.
oh my
So
God.
then, my friend asked if because I said something about Native, and he goes, "Was that you outside doing the drumming?" And I heard, yeah, I heard being bold, and he goes, "Yeah, I would say that's pretty bold." And stuff like that. So it started turning into like almost like a conversation, which was really weird and
Wow.
pretty cool at the same time.
Yeah. I would love to do that estimate. I don't know. I think that's the. I don't know. I always like love when I see them doing that. It's just I think they get so much more answers and experience through that
Mm-hmm.
because
I would agree
you're
with that.
you can't see, you can't hear, so your senses are more, alert. So you have no
Mm-hmm.
choice because you're taking away certain senses, so then the other ones are heightened. And I'm just like, that would be so interesting to do. So
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
jealous
do
you
an
did that.
investigation with you if you want
Oh
sometime,
my
if we
God. I
ever
would
get the
love
chance
to.
to, and we could do the Estes Smith. I have a spirit box and everything, so.
Yeah. That's pretty cool too. I did when we went to the sanitarium, I did like that. It was kind of cool. When we first started it, um whoever came through was said something about like my sister's got brown hair, and they said something about the bitchy blonde, and I was like, you don't know me,
I'm not
whatever.
bitchy.
I was like, I'll be bitchy, sure. Maybe he meant bitchin'. I was like, all right, that's better. But yeah, I think that was kind of cool too. Because it's neat just to hear. I mean, is it real? I don't know. But if you're having a conversation, it's like, how is that possible? You know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
feels real.
Right,
100%. Yeah.
right. So as long as it's not negative, I'm like, I'd be totally down talking to some ghosts, man.
That's one of like I think that's one of my favorite things to do. So I went on my first paranormal investigation with paranormal investigators that I became friends with out of South Florida, Miami to be exact. And my kids and I, a couple of years ago, went on vacation in Florida, and I ended up meeting up with them, and it was my first paranormal investigation ever, and they had me do the Estes and stuff. So it was really hard to like, especially for your first time, to like really like get anything out of it. But it was I ended up talking to what seemed like a spirit named Margaret, and she said she ended up saying daddy, and everybody, that because there were people there for like observation and stuff like that, so they were just doing like a ghost tour kind of thing, and I could feel like a rumble, so like I felt like they were laughing, so I started laughing, and then this guy Joe comes in, and apparently the spirit Margaret really likes him, and then as soon as he walked in, I said "Daddy" a second time. And so they were thinking, like, because she has hit on him in the past through the spirit box,
Right.
that she was just being like, "Oh, Daddy's here."
Right. And you had no idea what you were saying, so
Exactly. I
that's
was
why I
just
think
like,
it's so interesting, because you're just
uh-huh.
saying words you're hearing, and they're the ones asking the questions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. I have a 6-minute video of it and everything. So it
That's
was
cool.
pretty cool. But anywho, I won't keep you any longer. But if you don't mind letting the people know, like, any social media things that you want them to follow, anything like that.
I mean, everything on my Facebook page has like the links to like my IBMD page, or the movies, the website for the movie. They can check that out. So just don't be mean to me.
I
Um,
actually posted on my Instagram your guys' movie that's coming up. I
oh,
posted
thank
it in
you.
my story, I
So
think, the other day.
how can you, they could just Google, or Anne-Marie Bahny. That's my name. Like, I don't hide anything, because it's like people will find you anyway. So
For
that's
sure.
my name, that I'm out there. I don't have anything bad. I'm a very positive person. So if you're positive, I will let you see my stuff. And I would the more supporters for, the movies that we do, that helps out Ty, the director. And yeah, absolutely. And Instagram too. It's just, I think, Anne-Marie Bahny 716. That's our area code. So, um, but so if I want to put this, like, how do people see this, that want to watch this podcast? Like, what?
So I posted on Instagram, and
Oh, you.
then the audio goes on anywhere people listen to podcasts.
So how do I share if I wanted to share it?
I can send you the link when I post it.
Okay. Yeah,
and
because
stuff like
then
that.
the more people who see that, then you'll have more followers too. Because I think your stuff is interesting. I would totally listen to you again. You're fun. I like this. It was fun.
Thanks. I would love to have.
You have good energy. I mean, good topics. I don't know. I think I could sit here for hours. We could just chit chat. I mean, I don't care.
I mean, I could have gone for like another 2 hours.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
I just can't.
I know.
So, but anyways, real quick for the listeners, like, follow, share, leave a rating and review if you don't mind. Obviously, if your podcatcher doesn't allow you to leave a rating and review, you can do so on the website, where the Weird Ones Are podcast.com. That is also where you can get merch, like the t-shirt back there behind me. I have a ton of other designs if you're interested. Also, you can also get hot sauce, coffee, and supplements, and read some of my short stories that I've been posting. I haven't posted one in a while. I have written a new one. I just haven't posted it yet. So, with that, you know the drill. Question everything. Stay weird.
In the quiet of the night, when the world feels far, there's a voice through the static, like a falling star. It calls the misfits, the dreamers, the ones who see the shadows in the corners, the truth we barely believe. From the pine tree woods to the desert skies, they talk of ghosts and aliens aliens with wonder in their eyes, not afraid to ask the questions that others won't dare. 'Cause the world gets strange when you stop and stare. Come gather around where the weird ones are, by the fireside glow or a midnight call, where the stories run deep and the secrets fly like owls in the dark or stars in the sky. If you've ever felt lost, like you don't belong, you found your place, you found your song, right here where the weird ones are. They'll talk of cryptids, time slips, and deja vu, of spirits that linger and what might be true. But more than the monsters, it's the people you'll find who dare to be open with curious minds. It's not about fear, it's the thrill of the ride, to question the world with wonder as guide. So pull up a chair, let your freak flag fly, we're the seekers of truth beneath the sky. Yeah, come gather around where the weird ones are, on the moonlit thoughts and cosmic scars, where the veil feels thin and the questions burn, and we chase the strange at every turn. You're not alone, not in the dark, you're with a tribe. You found the spark right here where the weird ones are. For the ones who wonder, for the ones who know, welcome home.